Okay, so what's up, YouTube? I posted a video last week looking at my analytics, my weekly recap, right? And so I've had this notification on my phone. It actually came like the next day, and it was the next week, the next weekly recap. So I thought it would be cool to just do this every week, just kind of go over my recap and you know, I'll be able to look back and see what I need to. It's kind of like self-reflecting, right? See what I need to improve upon, right? That way I'm not just stuck in my own thoughts, my own perspectives. I can incorporate everybody, everybody that watches my channel, everybody that has some input, and it kind of let them guide the channel, right? Which way I'm supposed to go. You let me know if I'm veering off the track, or if I'm hitting the nail right on the head, or whatever. Ultimately, it's my channel, but the point isn't to satisfy me. It's despite what my brother says. He says that I only make videos to get attention. Yeah, no, I've never. Anybody who knows me knows that I am not the type of person who needs to get attention. Right? I do like to talk a lot sometimes, but no, never needed to get attention. Never did things for attention. Quite the opposite. I consider myself a pushover when it comes to certain things because I don't want the attention. I had a couple different absolute lawsuits that I could have absolutely filed and won, and cost this town or this police department or just Officer Dillhole a pile of money. I could have been, kind of vindicated and been repaid back. You know what I mean? I could have done that, and the reason I didn't do it is because I don't want the attention. I don't care about money. It would be nice to recoup everything they took from me. However, that's just materials and that's just stuff. So it's a trade-off. So that's how much I don't want attention, that I literally, against my better judgment, I didn't take any further action and I didn't even file a complaint against the officer that tried to kill me twice. Okay. And he just speaking out about shit, though, absolutely made a difference, because that police officer's gone. He's not trying to kill me anymore. I think he's probably moved on to his next fucking victim in the next town over. Actually, I think he just got fired from there too, I heard. Dillhole got fired from here, and then went to Northern Cambria, and I just heard he got fired from there. And in between, there was a lawsuit that they settled for an undisclosed amount because he did hurt somebody. And I said he's going to hurt somebody. He's a fucking loose cannon. But anyway, I don't want attention, okay? This has turned into kind of like a very useful tool for me for like therapy, for one thing. Gives me the ability to self-reflect on myself, because isolation it can be your biggest enemy, right? So in isolation, it's important that you do a lot of self-reflection, okay, and look back at your behaviors, the way you handle things, your actions, but look at them from other perspectives, okay? Especially the opposite, especially the the people that are against what you your actions and what you speak out against. Yeah, self-reflection is important. So that's what this is about. we're going to do... Oh, look, I have a memory to look back at. Isn't that funny? I was talking about that, and Facebook pops up. I don't even really look at my Facebook, ever. I just use it to hit post and share certain videos that I think are extra important. And then that's it. I don't even say anything. I just post them most of the time. So I don't even open the app up. I just hit post. But I have a memory to look back at today. Let's see. This... Well... Yeah, let's look at it. Fuck it. Okay. This was a profile picture from November 14th, 2015. Wow. So this was in response to, I'm guessing, Veterans Day. Because it was an election year. So I'm guessing that was from Veterans Day. I don't know. Because for those of you who don't know, I am a veteran. I was a combat engineer, a 21 Bravo, in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. So, and I completed my training. I did get out of the military prior to my enlistment contract. Okay, I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't care. I'm not gonna hide it. I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything to hide. I'm an open book. Okay, I'm not deceptive. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. That's it. Everybody's done things that they're not proud of. Everybody has mistakes. So, yeah, you're probably gonna hear me admit to some mistakes that I've made in the past, because it's literally what makes a person better, is their mistakes. And the ability to admit them, that takes a lot. It takes a man to admit when they're wrong, admit their mistakes, and recognize and change. I consider somebody who does that much better than somebody who's never made the mistake, right? Because they didn't learn a lesson at all. It's like having no credit instead of, that's worse than having bad credit sometimes, having no credit at all. So I would trust somebody who has made mistakes in the past and is willing to admit them and change, way before I would trust somebody who's never been in trouble, who's just perfect, right? I'm sorry, but I have a hard time trusting perfect people, because something tells me they ain't perfect. They just manipulated the results, that's all. So that was that. Now we're going to go back to, let's close all this shit out. Let's go here. Okay, so we're going to look at this recap, right? Drum roll, please. So, the week of October 30th to the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. I don't know. Do you? And let me know if you get the reference. And if you don't get the reference, then you need to look it up. And then when you find out what the reference is, go watch that. It's very important. It has a lot to do with what's going on in our society today, right now. Like, a lot. And it's a movie that will resonate with anybody who's a regular citizen in any of the, the Five Eyes governments, yeah, go watch it. If you know what I'm talking about, what that's from. If you don't, ask somebody, figure it out, and then go watch it. So, especially right now, being that it was just Veterans Day the other day. So I didn't recognize that. I forgot to actually, I didn't forget. I remembered several times throughout the day and meant to do a video celebrating Veterans Day and honoring the sacrifice that everybody made. Because people who've never been in the military, I don't think that most people really understand just the level of sacrifice that somebody makes just signing up, just just deciding to make that commitment and that sacrifice to give yourself up, to protect your country, to protect the idea of America, right? To protect every single one of the trolls on YouTube's rights to free speech, right? To protect everybody's rights. It's so important, so important. And a lot of people gave the ultimate sacrifice. Not only did they do the brave thing, but they gave up their life so that you had the right to flip off a cop today. That way you have the right to tell a jackboot thug pig to go fuck himself. And it's not only, you're right, it's not only, it's absolutely legal, you can do that. It is a constitutionally protected activity, okay? It is an activity that the cops swore an oath to protect. So you go tell a cop exactly what you think of them, okay? And some cops are just pieces of shit, right? And they'll retaliate against you. But most cops understand that you have the right to petition your government. It's one of the First Amendments, one of the 5 First Amendments. The right to petition. So it's not just the right to free speech. That's one of them too. But petition. You have not only the right to petition, but the duty to petition your government. If you don't agree with how they're operating, if you have a complaint or whatever, you not only have the right to bring it up, to petition to your government, you have the duty to do it. That's our duty as the people, because it's our government. It's not theirs, it's ours. It's time we take it back. But in order to do that, everybody needs to learn their fucking rights, first and foremost. So here's your lesson of the day. Here's your targeted tip of the day, okay? It's Tuesday, right? So you'll get a 2 for Tuesday. We'll do this, and then we'll do a targeted tip of the day. Targeted Tuesday's tip of the day is, what are the first 5 aspects? What are the first 5 amendments? The First Amendment. Now, what is the first? What are the 5 aspects to the First Amendment? There's 5 of them, okay? What are the 5 freedoms that make up the First Amendment, okay? And a lot of people are not going to get this. A lot of people, it's not embarrassing to not know this because they don't really teach it enough. A lot of people right now just listening to this video are learning that there's 5 things in the First Amendment. A lot of people probably thought the First Amendment was just freedom of speech, and that was it. Because you hear that a lot. No, the First Amendment is 5 very, very important freedoms that Americans, enjoy. And you'll recognize them when I say them, but they're all part of the First Amendment because they're all equally the most important thing in our country. The second most important thing would be the right to bear arms. So there you go. They drew it up like that for a reason. The right to bear arms so that your government can't become a tyrannical government. The First Amendment gives you the right to check up on them, call them out, and then if they're getting too corrupt, if their powers go into their head and they're trying to take too much of your freedoms or authority, then you have the right to bear arms against them, and they can't take them away from you. You have the right to bear arms against your government. That's what it was created for. It was created so that if the time ever came and the need would ever be, Americans could bear arms against the tyrannical government. And that's it. That's why it was created. The right to bear arms against your government, okay? So just saying that out loud doesn't make you, threat to national security because you use your freedom of speech to voice your knowledge of the Second Amendment, the possibility of the people rising up against their government, okay? But today's government, the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, they're scared little bitches, right? And they don't want to lose their power. So they create these little task forces and shit, right, to identify and slap a label on certain people who speak a certain way, people who, share a certain viewpoint and pose a risk to their authority, because the only thing standing in the way, the only thing giving them their power and giving them the ability to hold the power over the people is our lack of knowledge. That is it. Plain and simple. If everybody just stopped what they were doing and just went and researched and learned how our government works and what our rights are and how it was created and what your rights are. If everybody learned what their rights are and the way cops are supposed to, behave, what they're supposed to do, what their mission statement would be, what their job duties are, and their priorities, you would realize that we already have the power. You just don't know it. And they don't want you to know it. That's why they suppress people like myself who know the truth and speak out about it. So anyway, the first 5 amendments, the first 5 aspects to the First Amendment, okay? And this is going to be easy to remember, okay? Because think of it as your jam, right? It's your jam, right? So consider it your wraps, right? Your wraps. You need your wraps. You need your wraps. You absolutely need your wraps. Or if you're a smoker, right? And like Conspiracy Underground has a bowl, right? Because you hear him packing it up all the time. But if you don't have a bowl, you might need your wraps, Conspiracy Underground probably uses blunt wraps, right? But it's spelled different. So it's RAPPS, okay? 2 P's, RAPPS. So there's freedom of religion. You're free to practice any religion you want. Freedom to assemble, meaning they kind of crossed they created a gray area there and kind of crossed the line during COVID when they told everybody that you could only assemble into groups of so many people, and they made it illegal if you gathered in groups more than 25 people or something like that. That was absolutely an unconstitutional mandate. Okay, therefore making it an illegal mandate. Because if you wanted to assemble in a group of 30 people, the Constitution trumps everything. The Constitution says that you have the absolute right to assemble and practice your religions. They were shutting down churches and shit, and charging people. Like, you realize what they're doing. They're absolutely coming after your constitutional rights. The First Amendment specifically. Then they'll work on the Second and Third and Fourth and so on. So you have the, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and then you have the 2 P's, And no, it's not, doesn't stand for perp. It doesn't stand for persecutory. It doesn't stand for, it doesn't stand for a lot of things. But it doesn't stand for Patton either. It stands for the freedom the freedom of press, okay? That one everybody knows, the freedom of press, right? And that's pretty much the freedom to investigate and tell everybody what you learned, the freedom of press. You don't need a press pass, that's all myth and shit. Everybody has the freedom of press. You can take a camcorder and you can go downtown and you can film your public meetings, your local town meetings, because that's a public thing, and you have the freedom of press. They can't stop you constitutionally, legally. They're not supposed to stop you. Now, they did, of course. Most towns have policies and they have all this fucking bureaucratic rules, right? That you gotta jump through hoops, and walk a tightrope just to be able to practice your freedom of press. But they still, in the end of the day, they can't stop you. So you got religion, you got assembly, you got press. The other P is right to petition. So that is the right to petition your government. That's what I was talking about, okay? Meaning you have the right to tell the government and anybody who's in public service, anybody who, works for the government. You have a right to petition them. You have a right to tell them what you think about them, and air your grievances, without the fear of persecution, okay? So without them, bitching because they don't like what you say, and they can't shut you down because they don't want to hear it, or they don't want other people to hear what you have to say. They can't do that. You have the right to petition your government. And really what it means is to petition means to bring to light concerns of the public or a citizen individually. But when you petition your government, usually that's why you get a petition. You go around, you get a bunch of your fellow citizens to sign it if they, to petition the government and prove to them, hey, look, it's our government and this is proof here. We're petitioning that we want a change, and you have the right to do that. And then they kind of have to answer, right? Because they are elected and they're supposed to honor their constituents' wishes. So the very last and final one is an S. And that is, I think, the most important one. And which, whether you like it or not, doesn't apply here on YouTube like the way you think. It would on your own channel, I guess, but not really even then. Because, this isn't public. YouTube is a private company. You agree to follow their terms and services. In return for they give you the platform to come on and post videos, but it's their company at the end of the day. You do not technically have the freedom of speech, the constitutionally protected freedom of speech on YouTube. Okay? Sorry, doesn't exist. And meaning if I want to censor anybody I want on my channel, it's just like you coming to my house. If you come to my house and try to run your mouth, I'm going to shut you down. Yeah, I'm going to shut your fucking mouth, knock your teeth out, whatever I have to do, because that's my fucking home. And in my home, I make the rules. The Constitution doesn't apply in my home. That's my castle. Once you step outside into public, though, that's a different story. I can go stand in front of my brother's house, right? And I'll take Nerve Girl as I'll steal his example, in a hula skirt, right? And I can dance the Macarena or whatever fucking Hawaiian song, and I can yell what I think about my brother. All I want, and as long as I'm not speaking absolute facts as if they were facts, but if I was lying about him in a way that would negatively affect his reputation, and it's just something that he can prove isn't true, That's defamation of character. Then you can't do that. You can't do that shit. But I have the freedom of speech. I can express my opinion of anybody you want to with the freedom of speech. They can't shut you down for it. In public, you say, "Hey, jackboot thug pig, you're a fucking pig. You're a fat little piggy, and you're a fucking pussy," and flip them off and tell them to eat shit, pig. And you're allowed to do that. You're absolutely allowed to do it. As a matter of fact, it's your duty. I mean, you're what's the word I'm looking for? You are encouraged to do it. Now, obviously, you're not encouraged to use profanity and be unreasonable, but you are encouraged to speak your mind, speak your opinion, to your government. You can speak it about anybody you want, anywhere you want, in public, either way. But there it is, RAPS, religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. So, here's what I got up to last week, right? Okay, here's the video I put up about Burger Boy, right? I guess, right? 5 videos in one post. So, latest from Burger Boy. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was just me telling him what I think about him, about Burger Boy. Let's see. Does it show the 5 videos? No? Okay. So, excuse me. These are channels that tuned in. Trying to see, what do we got here? Who's that on the top left? She's cute. Real cute. And who do we have down here? Okay, there's, what's his name? The guy with the mask on there. I don't necessarily support him. I've watched a couple of his videos, and I was turned off real quick. He's too aggressive. He's too abrasive. Yeah, he seems like he's one of these people that are gonna just fucking go off, and end up being a statistic at some point. And he's always drunk. He's drinking. He's slurring his words all the time. He's not a good example to represent the TI community. Not at all. Some of the stuff he says, though, isn't bad. He has good ideas. But anyway, look, he's that forgettable. I forget his name, right? Then we got WS, don't know who that is, and I can't see these little pictures. But we had 210 people who tuned in. So that's good. Does that mean there's 210 different people? I'm asking, I'm not sure. Does that mean there's 210 different channels that tuned in? Or was there like 210 views? Well, I got 5 new subscribers in a week, so that's good. I consider that good. Because in a year, what's that in a year? It's basically, what's that, 5 a week? There's 52 weeks in a year, right? That's, between 250 and 300 subscribers a year at that rate, at that pace. So that's faster than I've accumulated them so far. Because I think I've had my channel up for almost 2 years now. So here's how people found you. Channel pages, YouTube search, and notifications. Same as last month. And this is what they watched. Oh, look at that again. Number one. The number one video again is my brother, proof. Perp violates PFA. Will the authorities do anything? And guess what? The authorities didn't do anything, obviously, because just yesterday, I just happened to be turning down to go to my dad's, and what do you know? There's my brother, who he just drove past my dad's again for no reason at all, because then after he drove past my dad's, he turned and headed out of town he could have went the other way. He should have went the other way. There's no explanation for it, excuse for it, except for he's being nosy or wants to harass and stalk my dad. And then you've seen how he acted, his reaction whenever he realized that I caught him, was recording him. He flipped out, laid on the horn, and tried to run into me. He damn near hit the back of my car. And I had the right of way. I was trying to make a 90-degree turn onto a narrow road. And there was another vehicle right there off the side of the road parked with their door open. He's going to cause an accident and hurt somebody. And then he sped up the road. So, but he'll tell you that I'm attacking him. So anyway, yeah, the authorities didn't do anything, and they're probably not gonna. My dad was actually, he doesn't understand why he didn't even get notified. I got to look into it and see if the PFA really is up or not, because he didn't get a notification, and they were supposed to review it at 3 years. They were supposed to review the PFA. It's not supposed to just expire. They're supposed to take another look at it at 3 years and decide whether it should be extended again or withdrawn or rewritten, whatever, revised. But he didn't hear anything. So it was implemented in, what was it, July? Say July 1st, I think. 3 years ago, so July 1st, 2020. But then it was 45 days after that, so July, the middle of August, I guess. Yeah, so I guess it would be up. Same thing happened with my brother whenever he was getting out of jail. I was supposed to be notified of a possibility of parole, and I wasn't. And I called up there because it should have been about that time, 5 years. And just to find out that they released him a week before. And then they didn't let me know. And I said, why didn't anybody let me know? This is bullshit. Why didn't anybody tell me? And they got all pissy with me and said that I was supposed to sign up for it. They sent me a paper 6 months after the after his sentence. They sent me a paper in the mail. They said I was supposed to fill it out and send it back if I wanted to be notified. I had to sign up. I had to go further and sign up to be notified. That's fucked up because, if you're a victim, you didn't sign up to be a victim, did you? Right? So why, with all the taxpayer dollars that Victims Advocate Services get, they get a lot of money. Where does it go if they don't do anything for the actual advocate for the victims? What the fuck do they do with it? They couldn't so much as make a fucking phone call. Really? A phone call. And at the same time, the reason that it all happened at the same time because I was curious and I went onto my Megan's Law account where I had my brother as a track defender, right? And it wouldn't let me log in, right? Wouldn't let me log in. So I tried to reset my password. It wouldn't let me reset my password. Okay, so I called the state capitol in Harrisburg, where the state police, Megan's Law office, the guy who handles the Megan's Law online shit, that department, there in Harrisburg. I talked to him personally. He looked into it. He couldn't give me an explanation to why I was locked out of my account. He didn't have an answer. He didn't know why. He said it didn't make any sense. He told me that, because I never got a single notification of my brother at all, ever, right? And when I finally did log in, he was still on there listed as a track defender. So he said, it doesn't make any sense. You should have got at least 2 notifications just from his address change alone, And now, the fucked up thing is I would get notifications of other people that moved into Patton or moved out of Patton that were on Megan's Law. I would get notifications for them. Now, why? And I asked the question, why wouldn't I get the notifications for my brother? Okay? There was some really fishy shit going on here. Really fishy shit. And I couldn't log into my account. I didn't get notified about his possible parole, right? None of it. And when somebody goes on Megan's Law for life, okay, for life, there's a no contact order, and they released him at his first possible parole hearing without notifying anybody, because I was absolutely going to speak my mind. At least speak my mind. What, I can't tell you what I was going to say at that point because I never got that far. But I called and said, where's he going? And they released him to a halfway house in Harrisburg. And I called the halfway house in Harrisburg. And they said, well, he's scheduled to leave here, and he's going to a halfway house in Johnstown on Tuesday, they said, like a couple days later. I said, whoa, what? Who approved that? Who authorized that? I said, why would you do that? I said, I didn't get a chance to advocate at his parole hearing, but I'm absolutely advocating right now. You can't send him back to his home county, the county where he committed his crime. I said, there's 67 counties in Pennsylvania. Send him to any other county but his home county. There's 66 different counties you could fucking put that guy in. Why would you allow him to come right back to his home county? And the woman, she made out like it was a done deal, and she made out like she tried to gaslight me. She's like, well, that's what they do. That's just how it works. That's what they do. And I had gotten prior knowledge that that's not how it happened. He went out of his way and applied. He had to apply for a transfer, okay, and it did have to be approved. But I had already knew that before I spoke with the woman there. And she tried to gaslight me and bitch, and it's like, you're advocating for him? Are you serious? And you're acting like I'm just giving you a hard time because I'm just asking questions, expecting you to do your fucking job for my daughter, for my little girl, who now, 5 years later, was 13. So I was very, concerned and didn't think that he should come back to his home county, because why? There's nothing for him here. Why would you do that? And at the end of the day, I couldn't get nothing done except for access to my Megan's Law account. And I didn't get any answers. Nothing made any sense. Everybody just, passed the buck, shrugged their shoulders, couldn't tell me anything. I don't know, that's weird. Even though we're literally investigative detectives, we don't know what happened. Sorry. It was fucking weird, I'm telling you. I think that they hushed it all up. They covered up his fucking criminal record, because when you look up my name on these third-party sites for like criminalhistory.com, shit like that, I found a bunch of listings under my name, right, that were crimes my brother committed 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And when you look up my brother's name, nothing comes up. It's fucking strange, isn't it? Nothing comes up for my brother, who spent, did 5 years in state prison, and was in and out of jail for 10 years prior to that. But on my record, for some reason, these specific docket numbers were showing up under my name, my social security number, my fucking, and you look up the dockets and nothing would show up. It was just a blank page. Like the record is there that the docket exists, but when you look up the docket, there's nothing there. It's a blank page. Couldn't get any answers on that either. All I got was somebody that read the fucking disclosure to me that the information on this website is not to be considered up to date, and just because it's not on the website doesn't mean that there's not actually official dockets, and like basically saying that they can say whatever they want, whatever's convenient for them, and if there's a discrepancy with the information on their the Unified Judicial webpage portal, there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry, They get plausible deniability. They get to shrug their shoulders there. Sorry, I don't know. But but I couldn't get answers to any of this shit, so they were already up to something. They were already planning this, I think, my targeting and shit. I think that my brother got out of jail, and it was 2 days later he went right back to jail, and then that's when he got his 5 years. So I think when he got out of jail to begin with, I was on house arrest for driving under suspension. Okay? A traffic violation. This is back in 2013. And he gets out of jail and burnt every other bridge in his family. So he came to my house, like he always did, and I gave him a place to rest his neck, right? My couch. That's it. And at the time, nobody would have ever thought that he would have done anything to, an 8-year-old little girl that he pretty much helped raise at that point. Nobody would have ever thought that, you know what I mean? So it's not like it was something that was negligence on me or my ex-wife's part, you know what I mean? It was something nobody would have expected. We knew he was a creep and that he liked younger girls, younger teenage girls. But yeah, we had no idea. So anyway, I believe, though, that everything happens for a reason. My ex-wife was secretly conspiring behind my back during these couple months, because I was just about to get off house arrest here shortly after that. Like within a couple weeks, actually. And my brother comes there, and then I find out my ex-wife was conspiring against me, working with my probation officer, and they had me thrown in jail illegally. They lied through their teeth, and she had this Pam Neff probation officer bitch just help her out and throw me in jail to make her life easier, because she wanted to separate, right? She wanted to have her cake and eat it too. See, what it was I decided I didn't want to do drugs anymore. She wasn't on the same page. She didn't want to quit being a drug addict. So what was her solution to that? Get rid of me. That way she could just take the kids and make everything easier on her. She wouldn't have to actually grow up and be responsible, because the responsible person who would make her do that was in jail for driving under suspension after already serving 6 months house arrest. Now think about this. Already serving 6 months house arrest for a traffic violation. Never had a DUI, never been in trouble at that point, right? They violated me with 1 week to go. I had 5 days. I had 5 days to go on my house arrest, right? And they called me in, and this bitch threw me in jail. She claimed that I didn't have a diagnosis paper from my doctor. Okay, because I had brought doctor's appointments and shit at the time, and I brought in all my paperwork. She made me get timestamps and everything, threatened me that it all better check out. It didn't make any sense why she was so very ignorant and targeting, right? But everything did check out, because I was doing the right thing, right? I don't know what my ex-wife was telling her, but clearly she was being fed some bullshit, right? And that's what my ex-wife was good at. She was good at manipulating people, and she's very convincing. She has that innocent sweetheart type personality, that you would never think that she was lying whenever she, claims that she's some kind of victim of a master manipulator, I think are the words she used. That I was controlling, that I was a master manipulator. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what she does. You keep telling yourself that. But whatever she told Pam Neff, they threw me in jail because I didn't have a diagnosis paper from my doctor, she said. That's the explanation I got. And I had a hearing, and she went and found another reason at my violation hearing, because I stopped to get pancakes for my daughter on my way from the dentist appointment to the house. It was on the way. I just called ahead of time and picked them up at 10 o'clock in the morning. So because I picked pancakes up for my daughter at 10 in the morning, yeah, that's why at the hearing, that's what she said happened. And they gave me another 2 months in jail. Isn't that nice of them? Isn't that nice of them for driving under suspension? That's it. So this is my first introduction to jail, and to how the system could really be and corrupt, and every fucking ounce of my being knew that it wasn't right what they were doing. That this can't be typical. This is not right, right? I didn't even technically, break the law because my license was suspended for failure to pay fines and costs, a speeding ticket. So debtors' prisons are legal in this country. So I was license suspended because I was poor, right? And that's why I got a driving under suspension to begin with. Nothing prior. So then I already get, basically have to serve over 6 months of confinement for that and pay thousands of dollars, and then resentenced on it. Because it holds a 2 to 6 month maximum. That's a max sentence for that. It's a criminal offense after you have so many driving under suspensions. So that's what it was. It turned into a summary, criminal offense, but which holds a min max of no less than 60 days, no more than 6 months. Well, house arrest is a form of incarceration. So when I did all but 5 days of my house arrest, when they violate you, right, they strip all that time. They take it all back like it never happened. And then they resentence you. So that's illegal too. And they do this as regular practice here in Cambria County, Pennsylvania. They like to resentence people over and over and over again, which is like double jeopardy kind of. It's exceeding different criminal statutes, the sentencing guidelines. It's exceeding the sentencing guidelines. They have a little money-making machine up here where they like to put people on probation, and then they like to just let them out real easy. They let people out by mistake all the time, and then they go pick them back up and say they made a mistake. Sorry, there's a warrant for your arrest now. You got to come back to jail, and they violate them for that and resentence them. I swear to God, it's fucking whacked. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing if you actually look into this and see the level of corruption, what this county does to people. It's fucking sick, because there I am in jail, and my brother, who's now a sex offender, right? But he already knows the jail. He's been coming there for 10 years. I'm there for the first time. They put me in quarantine for 45 days. I didn't know any better. I thought that was normal. I didn't see the sun for 45 days, okay? And I had like the last 15 days, 18 days, whatever, they finally moved me to a regular block, and only to have, I got to get the trays, the lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner trays. Yeah, I got to have those trays handed to me by my brother, who I put in there. Yeah, and that he got to have the run of the jail because he worked in the kitchen. So there he is, free to run the whole jail every day, get all these benefits as a prisoner. And I was locked up as if in the place where they put people in solitary confinement for punishment. They left me there and called it protection. They said, well, your classification is too minimum to go to any block. So we don't know what to do. We have to keep you here. That's what they claimed. Okay, now obviously it was fucking gaslighting. It was punishment is what it was. That was the beginning of my targeting, I think, back then. The people that target me, that's the beginning of when they, first time they ever actually did anything that I would absolutely consider coordinated, planned fucking targeting is what it was. They did that as punishment to me, right? So whatever, everything happens for a reason. It didn't do anything but hey, help me out, I got a vacation for 2 months. I got out. It allowed my ex-wife to keep fucking up and being a retard. So whenever I got out, I didn't have to work. I didn't have somebody who I had to fight for custody. You know what I mean? I had somebody who just wanted to be lazy and keep doing drugs. So it made that real easy, She tried to kidnap the kids and take them down to the next county and move in with her mom's because she was getting evicted from the apartment she got with my money that she'd never paid any actual rent on after the first month. So within 3 months, she's getting evicted. She just took the kids and took off with them one day and said she's keeping them. That's it. So what do? You know what I mean? I'm the bad guy, right? Because I had to file for custody. I'm the bad guy. I ruined her life because I filed for custody. So, I'm not even going to delve into the details. Long story short, I won hands down, lickety split, probably the easiest custody battle they ever fucking had. And that was that, But my brother, I believe that the authorities got to my ex-wife, got to my brother, and I think they all had a plan to set me up back then. I think they were trying to set me up because at the time before that, I was engaging in some activity that was, not the legality of it. We'll say the legality of it was in question, okay? I'm not going to say what it was, but it's past the statute of limitations anyway. I don't really care. But I was doing some stuff that they probably wanted to get me for, and I quit doing drugs, and then that probably pissed them off, because then they're like, well, we didn't get him on anything yet. We can't let him go. Can't just let him, because they obviously, was engaged in illegal surveillance on me, so they knew everything I was doing already. My ex-wife probably fucking ran her mouth. My fucking coward perp brother, fucking professional prisoner, probably ran his mouth. They probably worked together to try to get me hemmed up back then. But as God would have it, that wasn't in the plans. That wasn't God's plan for me at that time. Not at all. At the time, that was all meant to happen so that everything happened and turned out the way it did. That's why it all happened that way. I truly believe that 100%. But my point was that these fucking sick motherfuckers, they'll get to your family members and they'll use intimidation and they'll use blackmail or whatever, and they'll scare them right into recruiting them to do this shit. I can imagine my ex-wife. There's somebody she's going to be on her own for the first time in 10 years, right? And she probably got in trouble. So there she is, vulnerable, about to be single for the first time in 10 years, and a lot of scary shit coming up, and, change is scary. And these cops, I guarantee they probably fucking intimidated the hell out of her and said if she don't play ball, that they're gonna take away her kids and ruin her life, They just lie. They did it anyway. They didn't help her one bit. Matter of fact, they threw her name on the news and basically ran a news story that, if you paid attention, says that she's a narc. It plain out says that, according to a statement by Ashley Hofer, right? According to a statement acquired by Ashley Hofer, then they say what happened. She did this, and this other suspect, they drove around while he sold bath salts, right? And that information was obtained through a statement by Ashley Hofer. They said this on the news 5 years after it happened, after she got in trouble, 5 years later. Why would they do that? It didn't make any sense at all. They did it, I believe, because she didn't fulfill her end of the bargain. She wasn't successful in getting me on anything, right? And they knew where she lived the whole time. She was working with domestic relations shit. She even petitioned the court for a modification of custody, and they gave it to her. They gave her a hearing. So why did they all of a sudden put her on the Camry County most wanted list? Throw her on the news and put her on blast, put her mugshot on blast like that, all of a sudden out of nowhere, right? When they knew where she was at. And then they did that news story. They ran that news story. They typically don't do that about about old warrants, old warrants like that. She just absconded her probation. She just bounced to the next county over. So they didn't do anything. And they normally don't do anything until the person wants to come home, They don't go to get them, If it's 2 counties over, they're not going to waste their taxpayer dollars to drive 2 counties over to arrest somebody, even though they know where she's at. Yeah. No, they'd rather put it on the news, to convince everybody else of something. That was their punishment for her. I believe that 100%. 100%. Because then I found out at one of my hearings recently, 2 years ago, I had a meeting at the public defender's office, and I'm standing there, and I look up in the main courthouse, and there's my wife staring down at me from the 3rd floor of the courthouse, where the DA's office is located. Okay? Starting to put it together now. You don't have a meeting at the DA's office unless you're a fucking confidential informant. And there's a bunch of sheriffs that all hang out right inside and outside the door of the DA's office. I believe they do that whenever they have their protected meetings with their CIs, with their confidential informants. They would need extra sheriffs there just to protect the narcs, right? So I looked up and I said, "Hey, honey, what's up?" I ran up the steps and confronted her right away and said, "Hey, we don't have to like each other or get along for the kids to be able to see both of us, So whatever we got to do, the kids would benefit from having their mom in their life because she abandoned them and just stopped coming to get them in 2019. So at this point, 2 years have gone by where she didn't fucking see her kids, right? And she blamed that on me. I did that. She told everybody that I was keeping the kids from her, which was absolute dog shit, bullshit. So I was trying to reach out to her to advocate to get over her fucking ego, and let's pick up the visitation shit again. The kids could use their mother, another parent figure. But nope, I was left to do it all on my own, right? All on my own. Because, that's normal, right? A single dad with 2 fucking kids that are 9 and 13, right? Living on my own, that's pretty tough. That's not a lot of people can do that, but I did it. My entire life, I always had my kids, and I always worked, and I always lived on my own until, right after graduation, I moved in with my ex-wife there. Well, we moved in together into an apartment. She never paid rent. I did. But just recently, whenever they evicted me from my apartment, broke in and tried to kill me, and then they stole all my stuff, and they put me on the news like I'm some kind of criminal, and said that I was wanted for felony burglary, which would have been my stuff. But it didn't happen. They just made that up. And they charged me with felony breaking and entering and criminal mischief. Breaking and entering to what? My own apartment? Oh, you mean the one that you busted the door in? Yeah, the cop. They tried to blame it on me and say I was breaking and entering. So that's what happened. That's the story in a nutshell right there. And I fought the shit. I fought it and I won. The shit got dismissed. I never paid a penny for any of that. They wanted me to take a fucking plea, and they said they would drop the felony if I just paid for the door, paid the restitution for the door. I said, kick rocks, get bent, fucking fuck you. You broke the door. I ain't paying for it. I laughed at them. I laughed in their face. So we went in and had our hearing, and it got dismissed immediately. They didn't even have my name on the fucking police report. So how does that happen? How does somebody obtain a felony warrant for somebody's arrest, and enough to share it with Facebook and the local news, right? And the next town over's Facebook page and all the newspapers, right? They put me in every one of those with a fucking mugshot that said wanted for felony burglary. So it's a lie, first of all. Second of all, the warrant, they did get a warrant apparently for my arrest. You have to submit evidence to get a warrant. That's how that works. You have to submit evidence to a judge, at least a sworn affidavit, a sworn police affidavit, usually some accompanying some supporting evidence, to your affidavit as well. So the fact that it didn't happen, I never went back to the apartment after they tried to kill me that day. Never. At all. As a matter of fact, I had an alibi. I wasn't even in town with the date in question. So they really fucked up. They did that because they fucked up when they broke into my apartment the first time. They tried to cover their tracks by charging me with these false police reports. And then they went around to all my family members. They knew where I was at because they followed me everywhere. But instead of coming to where I was, they went to every one of my family members and, emphasized the fact that they're looking for me and what for, right? So all my family now thinks that I'm a criminal, right? So what's that? What does that do then? That gets your family to, boom, right away, your family doesn't trust you now, right? Because the police just told them that you were a criminal. They went to my grandmother's house, that's 10 miles outside of town, to look for me, right? I was a quarter mile down the road standing in the fucking driveway all day watching these idiots fucking drive back and forth in front of me because they follow me everywhere. So don't tell me they didn't know exactly where I was at. But they went right to my grams a quarter mile down the road and knocked on her door and told them that they were looking for me for felony burglary. And it wasn't one cop, it was the same the very same two police officers that broke into my apartment and tried to arrest me at gunpoint, tried to kill me. I believe 100% they tried to kill me. That was what they were going to do, because what else were they planning to do? They didn't have a probable cause to break in or arrest me. What the fuck were they going to do there? They had to make up something, so I think they were going to kill me. They knew I carry a pistol. Wouldn't be hard to break in my apartment. They look around, nobody else here, pop. Oh, he pulled a gun on us. Done deal, right? How hard would that be? Because you could see the fucking chief of police of Hastings, Jason Owens, in the video. If you pause it at the very beginning and you zoom in, that motherfucker is about breaking his arm, right? One hand is pointed at my head, right? And the other hand is about breaking his fucking arm just so he can cover his body cam with his hand. Very unnatural, awkward position where he's holding his arm in his hand to cover his body cam up. Why would somebody do that, right? While he's pointing a gun at my head. Why would somebody do that? Isn't that funny? So, all of these things, I could go on for days. It's not my delusions, right? I'm not delusional. I'm not it's not fucking delusions of grandeur. I'm not fucking making shit up or exaggerating shit. I absolutely became a targeted fucking individual because I was speaking out about the chief of police being corrupt because he filed a false police report about me in 2017. And there's proof exists to this day to prove what I'm saying right now. And that's a whole other story. So I was saying this out loud to people, and everything from the years prior, I just became somebody that they just had a hard on for, right? And when they can't get their way, right, it just makes them that much more determined to get somebody. So that's, I believe, how I became a target, right? Because a certain group of people had a collective interest to fuck my life over. And since they were never able to do it, then I'm still on their shit list, right? The truth is still the truth. And they haven't discredited me. They haven't been able to ruin my credibility thus far. If anything, they only helped me to regain it. And they forced the truth to come out by targeting me. So later on, a couple months later, Dillhole would make a second attempt at my life when he pulled me over for a registration and demand that I give him my gun, like immediately, like a crazy person, like for no reason. And then whenever he arrested me, he's screaming at me to get the fuck out of the car, as if I wasn't complying, right? And all I was doing was just keeping my hands on the wheel and looking straight ahead and repeating, my seatbelt's on, my seatbelt's on, my seatbelt's on. because I was not reaching for that fucking seatbelt or taking one finger off that wheel. If I would, what do you think was going to happen? He's not stupid. These cops are trained. He asked me if I had my gun on me. He asked where it was. Then he said, "Give it to me." And I said, I'd rather not have to do that. Can't I just get my ticket and be on my way? And that's all he had to say. He said, "Stand by." Next thing I know, he's screaming at me to get out of the car. "Get the fuck on the ground, motherfucker, right now. I'm not going to tell you again." He clearly saw my seatbelts on, you know. He was going to shoot me in the head again. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. Because when I tried to obtain the body camera in the dash camera, I couldn't get it. Couldn't get it. That's when all of a sudden they just dropped everything down. "Oh, never mind. Forget it. How about a $50 fine? Disorderly conduct." That was it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. $50 fine. I'll take a disorderly conduct. Right? Then they tricked me again. And they secretly fucking put me on probation. And then sent a letter to my old address that they shouldn't have even had on file. My old address. Luckily, I got the letter anyway, but it was an appointment to appear at probation. And I went, and I failed a piss test. Okay? And I've said this before, and they threw me in jail. But I think what they wanted to do was they were trying to get a warrant. They were trying to get a situation where they could manifest a warrant for my arrest so they could show up at my house and kill me. I don't think they wanted me to go to jail, and they didn't want me to put me on probation, because then I'm just going to spread my knowledge. I'm just going to speak the truth louder to a whole bunch more people that they don't want to hear it. So punishing me like that is not going to solve their problem, right? They needed to create a situation where they could double tap, to the back of the cerebellum. No questions asked. Problem gone, right? That's what they were trying to do. I believe it with all my heart, 100%. So that's when I created my YouTube channel. It saved my life. Absolutely saved my life. I believe if I didn't make that YouTube channel, I don't think I'd be here today. I believe that 100%. And I think it's obvious. I think it's very obvious what they were trying to do. And I believe that I'm 100% right on all of it. Because guess what? The cop's gone now. The chief of police is super nice to me. I don't have any more problems. They gave me my firearm back, right? So yeah, Chief Handler, I'm allowed to own a firearm. I have a concealed carry permit as well. And I have a piece of paper that says I'm the best shot in the fucking company when I was in the military. So, I have documentation proving that I'm, potentially, right, could be a dangerous person. If I wanted to be, but I'm not. I don't want to be. Anybody with the ability to shoot long distances accurately, and anybody who owns several guns, high-powered rifles, and they could technically be dangerous, right? But what made me dangerous is the fact that they knew it and I knew it, that there was also a motivation existed, because they knew they fucked my life up. They knew they fucked me over. They knew they did me wrong. So that one motivation probably scared them, right? Because in their eyes, in their little world, an eye for an eye, right? So they probably were waiting for some retaliation or something, but that's not who I am. But, officer safety. Officer safety. We have to kill him for officer safety. That's pretty much what it came down to. They were willing to fucking take me out and kill me for officer safety. Call it, I don't know how you could call it anything but that. That's what it was. They were trying to preserve their own careers and their own lives, right? By framing me, lying about me, and destroying my life for officer fucking safety. So, yeah, wake up. Wake up. If you don't already know all this to be true, or if you don't believe me, look it up. Fucking look it up. It's easy to do actual responsible research on a person and get the facts nowadays. So I encourage anybody to look up my records online, and then share them with me. I'd love to see what you come up with, because a couple times I looked it up, I found false information. I asked the great questions. How does this happen? And can't get any fucking answers, right? I can't. But people are real nice to me now. Isn't that funny? They're real nice. So, I shouldn't have to. There's a really good saying. I heard somebody put it in my chat. Tricks are for kids. He put it in the chat. Somebody kept demanding that he elaborate and show evidence on a claim that he was making. He just said something. He never claimed that it was true or not. He said that Nerve Girl is getting paid, and he said, oh, well, who's paying him? And he said, well, who pays the CIA and the FBI and shit? And Yummy Jackal Meat, said, that's not an answer. I asked a simple question. I wanted a simple answer, direct answer. Like fucking idiots, But he came up with this saying, and he said, a smart person doesn't require, a smart person can, all they need is is a hint, to figure out a problem or something like that. But only a donkey requires a whole fist, Something like that. But basically what it means is, if you require a detailed fucking explanation word for word, then you're an idiot. If you can't see it for what it is, and fill in the blanks, read between the lines, then you're a jackass. Plain and simple. I loved it. And then he tried to claim that he destroyed this fucking dude in my comments because he didn't answer his question. And I tried to remind him. I said, no, I'm pretty sure I heard the mic drop after that saying. Pretty sure I heard a mic drop there. You didn't destroy anybody. If that's what you think, then you're even dumber than I thought. That's Yummy Jackal Meat. I don't know who Yummy Jackal Meat is. I suspect that could be somebody related, in relation to my brother. I don't think it's my brother. I could be totally wrong on that, though. But either way, they both have the same script, same agenda. They both are being, paid online trolls. So I just assume that they all talk to each other, It just makes sense. And in the way he talked, Yummy Jackal Meat tries to demand fucking answers and shit. Like, it did kind of sound like my brother. And he's stupid, he just says things and he thinks that they sound smart, so he just thinks that he's right. That's it. He thinks that because he can say stuff and it sounds kind of smart, that he doesn't, that he's just right. The type of person I'm talking about, I'm sure, right? The type of person that they think they know it all. They just talk out their ass, and they're the type of person that'll like a Karen that'll come up to you in public and jump in front of your camera and say, stop recording me. You don't have my permission to record me, in public. Like, really? Well, why the fuck did you come up to me then and get in front of my camera and go, pound sand, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's called a constitutionally protected activity, motherfucker. It's the freedom of press. That falls under the freedom of press. And you can record anything you can see with your eyes from a public road or street, from public. Like my brother, he literally stated this in one of Nerve Gorilla's posts, the one where Nerve Gorilla cried and said something about the wiretapping law, and he was saying that I'm going to record him, and, not the typical thing that comes from Nerve Gorilla. That was like a boohoo, wah, mommy, he's picking on me type thing. But my brother responded to that comment about that wiretapping law, and he tried to claim that I illegally recorded him in his property, and that it's illegal for me to do so. And I had to fucking school him. I had to educate him because he's dumb. I told him that day, I said, the cop will educate you, and he's not going to force me to leave. He's going to educate you on the law, is what he's going to do. Because nobody can make me leave. It's a free fucking country and a public street. But my brother's weird, broken brain, he thinks that just because he doesn't like it, that's how it is. He thinks that I can't stand on the street in a hula skirt and a megaphone and take pictures of his yard and his house and his everything while singing the Macarena. He thinks I can't do that. So anybody wants to be the one to tell him. He goes by Jesus Christ. He goes by X, and he goes by Ed Hofer. However, I feel like he abandoned the Ed Hofer account. I'm just guessing because, nope. Oh, okay, as soon as I said that, it shows up. Never mind. But yeah, tell him what you think about Mr. Ed Hofer. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's what they watched this week, is my brother. And is Pegasus the reason gang stalking became so widespread? I believe so. Because they would have had to. That's the missing link. What changed in 2020, 2021, right? That expanded this whole thing to what it is now. What the hell changed to give all these fucking perps the confidence, that they can do this without getting in trouble? I believe it's access to a certain technology, one way or another, at least knowledge of it, and that would be Pegasus. That was right at the time Pegasus was, exposed. Because Pegasus can do all the stuff that happens to my phone, right? It's real convenient. So, and the number 3 spot was Jesse Ventura. Because he states in this interview with confidence, he states very openly how his belief, that the government can just kill you with a drone, and they're not beyond doing that, making that decision. They will not hesitate to take somebody out and kill an innocent American citizen with a drone if they don't like what you're saying, if they can. And they don't care that there's nothing to answer for, They are the government. They'll do it. They'll take somebody out with a fucking drone in a heartbeat. And they have, according to Jesse Ventura. So that is a good video too. But anyway, we got, people didn't just watch, they reached out. I had 35 likes, 12 shares, and 26 comments. So that's pretty good for what was it, 5 videos? No, 5 subscribers. Yeah, 5 videos. Okay, so 5 videos. And we had 35 likes. That's an average of 7 likes per video. 26 comments. So that's what, an average of like 5 comments per video. And 12 shares. So that's like 2 shares for every video. That's pretty fucking good, if you ask me. I mean, for a low-level nobody perp like myself, or T.I., for a low-level fucking nobody targeted individual that, my viewers consist of mainly perps. That's my theory. Or else I get more comments and shit. But let's play a game. What was your most viewed video last week? Okay. The most viewed video last week, I'm gonna say it was my brother. Here. Proof that perp violates PFA. Will the authorities do anything? I made that prediction. Look at that. I was right. I made that prediction last week when it was the number 1 video. That's funny. I got last week's question right, too. And check back next week. Whether you're planning, creating, or resting, have a good week. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'll upload this one. But look forward to do another one here. Probably, let's see, when was the 5th? Hey Siri, what's today's date?
It's Tuesday, November 14th, 2023.
Oh shit. So it's 9 days after. So I should have another one of these then, right? Why shouldn't I should have the one from the 7th to the 12th. But it didn't come through. I probably had to, no, I should have got that one already, but it didn't come through. But yeah, I guess it'll be the 19th, right? So I guess another 5 days or so. So next Friday or Saturday, I'll do the next one of these, and we'll see what happens. Because I think the videos that I put up in the last week or so here, and the videos I plan on putting up, I consider a little bit more effort put into them. They should do a little bit better. So I'll make that prediction, and we'll see what happens. And I suspect that the most popular video will be. Again, I gotta say it's gonna be my brother. It's gonna be the one about my brother. Probably the one where I caught him driving like a maniac. So, with that, be good or be good at it. Peace out.